Welcome. Welcome to a very special episode of the Killer Author Club. This is our last episode of 2024, if you can believe it. The one and only Geneva Rose is braving the killer hot seat to celebrate the milestone with us, and we'll be talking all about the perfect marriage in just a minute. So grab your cocktail and your list of questions, and we will see you on the flip side.
Welcome to the Killer Author Club. 3 best-selling authors talking about killing, of the fictional kind, with the best thriller and suspense authors in the business. Killer conversations, killer cocktails, and killer guests, with your hosts, Kimberly Bell, Heather Gutenkopf, and Kara Ruda. This is the Killer Author Club.
Will Geneva survive? Hello to all our new members in the Killer Author Club, our OGs online, or whoever's listening to our podcast. We are so glad to welcome you to the club. I'm Killer Heather Gutenkopf.
And I'm Killer Kara Ruda.
And I'm Killer Kimberly Bell.
And tonight we have Killer Geneva here with us to answer every burning question about the perfect marriage. As I think you can guess, the marriage is not so very perfect, but we have tons to talk about along the way, along with the usual killer fun. So speaking of some fun, how about some killer fun in your inbox? The Killer's newsletter is chock full of killer bookish news. We only send it out once a month, no spam, we promise. So sign up today at killerauthorclub.com. And also, if you can't get enough of our live show, check out the Killer Postmortem, otherwise known as the After Show, which is exclusive to our Killer podcast. Tonight's show will be available on your favorite podcasting app this Friday. Links to download are on killerauthorclub.com.
Yay! All right. Geneva Rose is the New York Times bestselling author of several novels, including the multi-million dollar, I don't know about that. Bestseller, I hope so. Bestseller, The Perfect Marriage. Her work has been translated into more than 24 languages and optioned for film and TV. She lives in Wisconsin with her husband, Drew, and her English bulldogs, Winston and Phyllis. Geneva, congratulations on everything and welcome to the Killer Author Club.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
We're very happy to have you, as you can tell. And we have so many questions about the perfect marriage, but can you start by giving us the elevator pitch for the book? I'm going to hold it.
Yes. The Perfect Marriage. It's about Sarah Morgan, a top criminal defense attorney who faces her most challenging case when she vows to defend her husband, a man accused of murdering his mistress. Juicy.
I love it. Well, we have so much to talk about, and you guys know to put your questions in the comments, and we'll get to as many as we can. But first, can you tell us about the special drink, Kimberly?
Yes, the Killers love our cocktails and mocktails and tasty drinks. So every episode, we ask our killer guests to come equipped with their favorite, and recipes for tonight's drink and all the killer cocktails that have come before are at killerauthorclub.com under the tab Killer Cocktails. But Killer Geneva made me laugh out loud when I saw the name of hers. It is called The Scott as her special drink tonight. Geneva, please tell us why.
This is a real drink, and I actually made it last year. I think it was last year I made it as like my publisher wanted me to do a special cocktail, and I found one that was literally called the Scott, and it's delicious. It's a really good drink.
It's really called the Scott.
It's literally called the Scott. I looked up like Scott cocktail, and it popped up, and I was like, perfect. That is the drink I'm doing.
Well, if you guys don't know who Scott is, you definitely need to go to Geneva's TikTok or Instagram or any of her socials, and you will figure it out. And
or maybe we can talk about it in the after show for the podcast. Sure. Yeah, that would be fun. So the Killers, we started the Killer Author Club 2 years ago so that readers like you can interact with some of the best suspense thriller authors in the biz. Our fall and winter lineup includes superstars like Greg Hurwitz, Lisa Unger, Hannah Morrissey, Nikki French, and so many more. For dates, times, past episodes, etc., surf to killerauthorclub.com. But tonight we're here to talk about the perfect marriage, and here are some comments from enthusiastic readers. Kept me on the edge of my seat. gripping from the very first page. I read this in one sitting. I can count on one hand the number of books I've read in a single sitting. This is one of those books. And it had me hooked literally to the last page. And I can attest to that too. So Geneva, you are obviously a highly skilled and devious killer. And now we need to know the answer to the question, how do you kill?
How do I kill?
Well, that one says
How or when, either or.
yeah, how or when,
How
whichever.
do I kill? In the morning. No one suspects a morning kill.
Ah.
I love it.
It's always
Do you
at
write?
night.
Yeah. Do you
That's
write
not-
in the morning as well?
I do. My sweet spot is like 10 a.m. to like 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's my sweet tea.
That sounds familiar. That's me
Yeah.
too.
Yep. I'm
I
too
like-
tired before 10 a.m. and I'm over it after 3.
So this is a really special book for you because it's being reissued. So tell us, of course, without any spoilers, what kind of journey has this book been on, and what kinds of changes have you made along the way? I mean, how fun for an author to be able to take something that they've created and then just reintroduce it to the world. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So in my original contract with my first publisher, that shall not be named because I despise them. I got my rights back because there was a 5-year clause, and I knew when I got those rights back that I wanted to, it had never been released in hardcover. So I wanted it to give it a beautiful package. And it's because this book was the book that it was my debut, and it also launched my career. It allowed me to be a full-time writer. So I wanted to give something beautiful back to my readers. They gave me a career, and I wanted to give them a beautiful package. And then with the sequel coming out in April, I wanted to ensure that it matched the sequel. So the sequel will also have blood sprayed edges. It'll just be flipped. So it'll be going the other way. And they'll look really pretty on a shelf together.
I love it.
It's so
Yeah.
cool. It really is. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm like, this is just the coolest thing. And then the
Publisher hated me with how many, I was like, nope. Oh, all of these right here. Those are all prototypes that were sent to me.
No.
Stop. Really?
Every single one, there's like 16 or 17 of them. And then I just kept, I don't know, making more changes. And I had a vision for it. And so I'm glad that they were able to bring it to life. I mean, I couldn't.
The illustrations, because it has illustrations in it too.
That was Sarah Riedlinger. She is a very talented graphic designer and an artist. She drew those, just like she drew the stickers. That was like the Scott sticker. That was a picture actually of Drew. And then the new one that came with the pre-order campaign for Home is Where the Bodies Are was a picture of me. And she drew those too. So that was a really cool addition to add that with the bonus chapter to make that bonus chapter a little more special.
So
And
when
just-
did this book originally come out? What year?
It came out July of 2020. Very small publisher, digital first out of the UK. They had no marketing behind it. And obviously they did very well with me promoting it on TikTok and Instagram. And I got it. I went viral so many times with it. And then at a certain point, the people that loved it, they ran with it. And it had that thing we can never count on, which is word of mouth marketing.
Yeah.
And from there, it's continued to have a very, very long shelf life, which is
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
For sure.
So which came first then? The going viral on TikTok, and then that kind of set things in motion for the sales of the book? And
Oh yeah, my first video, I had one that got nearly 1 million views in like September of 2020, but it was January of 2021 when I came up with it became a book talk trend where you pretend to be the protagonist in your story and then you show the book. That was actually a trend I started in January of 2021, and I got 5 million views on that first video.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to need to try that one.
It's become oversaturated. Now everyone does
Oh,
it.
try something,
Yeah,
come
I
up with
think so
something
too.
different and then get it to us first. That's fantastic, Geneva.
Yeah.
Could you
Well,
believe it? Could you believe it every time you opened up TikTok?
No,
And you
actually,
saw it in the-
when I posted that, I thought people were going to be mad at me and think like, oh my God, you're a liar. You tricked us. But they were like, this is genius. All books should be pitched this way. I would read more if people could tell me like a sentence or something. And I was like, you just got to hook them. And I hooked
Yeah.
enough of them.
Yeah, you did. And wait, I just want to say to people watching that aren't familiar with this, like to have a book that's reissued is one thing, but then to have like all those prototypes sitting behind you and actually get the creative input to have your dream of what it could be kind of like, wow, that's just really unheard of and really special. So congratulations.
Thank you. Let me show you one of these because it was like I cried. It was so bad.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I was like, no. Wait, does anyone?
Oh, the wedding ring. Yeah.
This was a no. This one, I was like, this looks like a cozy mystery. It's a no.
Yeah, I agree.
And my notes were just like, no.
No.
But we got there. And I think it was like
Yeah.
actually the underside of one of these that gave me the idea for what actually became the cover.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is interesting or not. No, keep doing it. Keep going it. But yeah, one of the undersides gave me the idea for the cover. Because I was like, I don't want to. Oh my God.
So many prototypes.
Yeah. It's
I'm
so
gonna
much
get
fun.
Some of my comments was, oh my God.
And it's so cool to be able to see it in person because it translates so differently from like computer to the actual physical copy. So that's really cool.
That's what gave me the idea. And I was like,
Yeah.
And then there were ones too, like end papers that started out like this. No.
Yeah.
I'm a very
So much
visual person. Even a lot of times when like I'll get a cover sent to me, I'll go into Canva and I'll like design my own and send it to them. And they're like,
Really?
Wow.
I love playing around with Canva.
Canva can be addictive. It is a lot
Talk
of
about
fun.
a time suck, though.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like when I'm like procrastinating. I'm like, let me have fun in here. I don't have the talent to like really design something that would be the final thing, but I can give the vision.
Right.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So you have a fun story that I heard about you and your brother, because you wrote together with your brother about where the idea of the perfect marriage came from. And it made me laugh because he was like, no, but tell us a little bit about that. That was so much fun.
Yeah, my brother and I like started writing like scripts, screenplays for fun. And then he and I got into it together. And he's like 7 years older than me. And we started writing scripts together and we started just doing comedy scripts, but I really wanted to write a thriller. So when people were like, how did this idea come to you? And it popped in my head when we were brainstorming. And I was just like, I think at the time the name was Rachel Sanford. And I was like, Rachel Sanford, top criminal defense attorney. And that little tagline. And then he's like, pretty sure that's The Fugitive. And I was like, is it? And he's like, yeah, that's The Fugitive. And I was like, okay. I wrote it down in a notebook. We didn't write it as a script. And I'd always wanted to write a book. I kept trying to write a book over the years, never making it past page 80. And then after I'd finished my first book, which was The Girl I Was, which was a speculative fiction that I wrote for myself, I wanted to write a thriller because it was my favorite genre to read. So I went back to that idea of Sarah Morgan, or it was Rachel Sanford, was stuck in my head. And I was like, oh, but it's The Fugitive. I can't write it. So then I was like, I've never seen The Fugitive. I have to watch this movie. So I went to Family Video. I rented it, brought it home. The disc would not work. It was too scratched. So then I had to rent it, pay like $5. And I rented the movie. I watched it. And then I called my brother up and I was like, the idea I had like 8 years ago is not actually The Fugitive. And he's like, it's not. And I'm like, no. And he's like, huh. And now to this day, he's like, well, if you would have wrote it earlier, it might not have been as good. So actually you owe your career to me.
You gotta love brothers.
Yeah.
That's great.
I love it. Well, I feel like we need to talk also about your other partner in crime, Drew, past tense draw. Anybody who's on your TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, I feel like we get to know you both as a couple. And you created an audio original together called Crime Times. Mm-hmm. Are you guys going to do any more collaborations together?
I don't know. We haven't talked about it. With hashtag Crime Time, we would love to do a second season, but I don't think it's sold well enough. So, and audio is just hard. Anyways, audio originals, and that it was written like a script. I think we would like in the future, maybe. I mean, we had a lot of fun working together.
Does he follow you around all day with a camera?
No, I have to like force him to.
Really?
I'm like, I need to record a video, or like, hey, let's do a video together. And he'll be like, oh, I gotta go put on pants. I'm like, your legs aren't gonna be in it. Otherwise, he does like, I don't know what he does. We just moved, so he does a lot of little things around the house now.
Yeah. And always a million things to do.
Yeah.
People are on here. Drew is amazing.
Drew, I don't know if he's over there. Yeah, he can hear.
He sounds excited to be talking to us.
Yeah, we're just talking about you. You can come say hi. Everyone loves you.
He's coming.
Oh, he
Oh,
is?
good.
Okay, good. Yeah.
What were you doing there? Oh, and he's bringing Phyllis.
Oh, is Phyllis the
Oh.
new dog or the other dog?
The
Which
new
dog?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Adorable.
that.
Hi, Drew. Hello. Oh my gosh. What a beauty.
Oh,
Thank you for making a cameo. We love it.
Yeah. That's so fun.
Okay, you guys, should we talk about the story of the perfect marriage a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sarah is a smart, fierce attorney who is met with the unimaginable. She's representing her husband for the murder of his mistress. So you kind of talked about where the idea came from, but when you finally got to sit down and start writing it, your brother said, okay, fine, it's not putative. Like, where did you get the idea? And are you a pantser or a plotter, or how did this all come about?
I'm a little bit of both. I will either outline the whole story, but it'll be very bare bones, or I'll outline like half the story. And that allows it, like the story to breathe, to characters to breathe. Because I remember with this one, I actually wrote a lot of this during like the first 50,000 words during NaNoWriMo, which I know NaNoWriMo is not it anymore. Very disappointing. But I wrote the first 50,000 words during that. And I remember like one of the twists at the end, not the main twist, another twist, came about during a writing sprint. And I was like, oh, that's it. That makes sense. And so that was like one thing that was like totally came out of nowhere. I did not expect it. And now it's like a huge part of The Perfect Divorce, which is really cool. Otherwise, no, I'm like, I mean, basically it was really centered around these two characters. One, I thought about, you know, the husband who had this little flash of a career and then it kind of fizzled out, and how that would make a person feel to watch their partner have a lot of success and then kind of put that career over like starting a family or anything else to like really be there for the partner. And so I thought about what that would do to a relationship or a marriage that was seemingly perfect and maybe it's not anymore.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. And then The Perfect Divorce, which comes out in April, right?
Yes.
That picks up where this story leaves off.
It picks up 1 year after this story leaves off, and the new couple, I'm going to do spoiler free for anyone that has not read The Perfect Marriage, which you can read The Perfect Divorce as a standalone, but it will spoil The Perfect Marriage. But it's 1 year later, the new couple, they find out that one of them has had a one-night stand. And so one of them immediately files for divorce. But in the midst of them filing for divorce, the one-night stand goes missing. And so now the two of them, as this cat and mouse game against each other, wondering if they're turning on one another, if they're setting one another up. And then in the midst of that, the Kelly Summers case, which is what Adam Morgan was accused, that was the mistress he was accused of murdering in the first book, The Perfect Marriage, has been reopened. And yeah, multiple points of view. And it's a lot. Yes. And then it'll have the sprayed edges the other way. I have arms. I don't have the
Let's see.
That's
Love it. Yeah.
Great.
So yours, not mine.
Yeah.
Sisters.
Now, will there be a third installment in the series, like The Perfect Remarriage, or will there be any, or is it kind of get tidied up?
I would just tell readers to read my acknowledgments in this one. I always tell readers, my acknowledgments are a lot of fun, so read them. I share secrets in them to make sure you read them.
Sure.
So how hard was it, though, writing a sequel to a book that has been like this runaway train? Did you feel the pressure to like make everybody happy, get it right? How do you deal with that?
It was extremely difficult, and it kind of reminded me of when I started writing my first book, where I, like, all the times I attempted, like the first book, second book, even the book I actually did finish, and where I realized I was in my own head. And I started writing The Perfect Divorce, and I was like 18,000 words in, and I just stopped. And usually when I stop writing, like, people always like, it's writer's block. And I think of writer's block as subconsciously, you know, there's something wrong with your story. So I did all of my tricks and little trade that I do to get through writer's block, which is talking to my husband about it, talking it out with myself, going for a walk, going for a drive, and then, or rereading it and reworking it. And I usually could always figure it out, but I couldn't. And I actually sequestered myself to a hotel in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin for 5 days because I was on deadline and I had stopped, and I had like a few months to finish this book. And I knew I wanted a lot of time after the first draft. And once I got there, and it was like the first day, I kind of reworked everything. I kept reworking it. And then I realized, no, wait, this is good. It's me in my own head, because I felt so much pressure for it to be, you know, you get the sequel curse, or it's not as good as The Perfect Marriage, or, you know, they should have never even done a sequel. And so I put a lot of pressure, but early reviews have been very good, where a lot of people have said this is better than The Perfect Marriage.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Wonderful.
And I'm like, how insulting to The Perfect Marriage.
Thank you. Yeah.
Equally is good. How about that? Yeah.
Well, a little holiday elf told us that you are publishing a post-apocalyptic romance coming out in the fall of 2025, and a horror book coming out in the fall of 2026.
That's correct.
How hard is it to hop genres?
And how much do you write? Like, how fast do you write?
Oh my God, I almost killed myself writing those books. Actually, one of them I haven't written yet. I have not written the horror yet.
You better get to work.
I wrote like the first, because it was originally a novella that's being expanded, in, which is going to be so different than the novella. The novella was never released. I never did anything with it. So I don't have to write a full book.
Right.
That's not due till summer of 2025, so I've got time.
Yes.
What was the, how does it feel to like jump different genres?
Yeah.
I really liked, so the post-apocalyptic one, which I just finished copy edits on it today, is like horror, thriller, romance, action. It's unhinged is what I call it. But like that book, I loved writing because it felt like there were no rules, and I could get into the different genres I've written in, because I've written romance. I have the speculative fiction novel coming out. It's a re-release in hardcover in July of 2025. So it was like that type of stuff, the humor, the heart that was in that book. The thrills of like The Perfect Marriage, and like I bent a little bit into horror, and some of, I think thrillers and horror can be very close depending on the type of horror. So I like switching the genres. I think it's fun, but like thrillers are my bread and butter. And when I can kind of make a genre almost like a thriller and do some other ones in there, that's fun too.
Yeah, that's amazing. Congratulations on everything. And you guys, it's that exciting time. I know you're all wondering about this, but Geneva is giving away 2 copies of The Perfect Marriage to 2 lucky US viewers. Doesn't matter if you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. We scour the comments everywhere we stream, but please make sure to shout out where you're from. And for a chance to win, correctly answer this question: a video on which social media medium shot Geneva and her first book to superstardom? That was an awkward way to ask that question, but you guys know what I mean. What social media channel? Yeah.
What could it be? What could it be?
That's so simple.
Sorry.
I said that's such an easy question.
If they were paying attention at all.
Really easy questions all the time. I know. We need it. New Year.
All right, you guys, the Killers are big fans of independent booksellers, and we want to support them in
stream, but please make sure to shout out where you're from. And for a chance to win.
Oh, somebody have a tab open, or
that was me.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like, oh no, I'm talking again. How am I talking again?
I was like, are you repeating yourself?
I know. Yeah.
Let's try this again. The Killers are big fans of independent booksellers and want to support them in any way we can, which is why we ask every author to tell us their favorite. And Geneva has chosen Blue House Books in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Geneva, please tell us why you love this bookstore so.
I have done events at Blue House Books since my very first one I did events for, which was One of Us is Dead. And I've had an event there for, I think, every book since then. And they just did, I only did one event for The Perfect Marriage re-release on release day. And it was with Blue House Books. And they like rented out a theater for it, like a huge auditorium. So they've always been really supportive. And now they're closer. Actually, I think it's the same distance, even though I'm in Wisconsin. They're in Kenosha. And they just put on amazing events. And Sam, that owns the bookstore, she does fun events throughout the year and she invites me to them. So they're just a very supportive, very well-run bookstore.
I love it. Well, I just dropped the link to The Perfect Marriage in the comments, so you can order it along with any of the others on your wish list.
Yes. So, and obviously the Killers, we love to read, and the Killer Author Club is the place to share the love for fabulous books. So please post pictures, write reviews, ask for recommendations, and give yours. We love it when our TBR cups runneth over, which is why we want to ask Geneva, what are you reading right now?
I just finished Hank Philippi Ryan's All This Could Be Yours, which is not going to be out for a while. So sorry. But it was fantastic. So add it to your list. And now I'm reading Sarah Peckinham's The Lockdown. Oh my God, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Did I pronounce that right? Is it Peckinham?
Peckinham.
The Lockdown.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Or The Locked Ward. Drew just brought it to me and held it out.
Oh, Drew.
So far, I don't know when that comes out. My blurb's not due till like February, so that's also probably not coming out for a while. My bad.
Both of those are fabulous writers and Killer alums. They've been on the show as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm always the worst at like, what are you reading? Oh, I'm reading a book, but you can't read it for like a year.
So we'll be looking forward to it though. So that's great. And we have some books to add to everybody's TBR pile too.
Oh, is that me? Okay. Speaking of amazing reads, we have 2 new releases to add to your pile. First, check out The Good Bride by Jen Marie Wiggins. Ruth Bancroft's perfect wedding goes awry when the rehearsal dinner is rocked by a series of gunshots and a high-profile guest goes missing. Sounds good. We also have Knife Skills for Beginners, I love that title, by Orlando Murren. The Maid meets Knives Out with a dash of Top Chef in the debut locked room culinary mystery set in a London cooking school by Master Chef, semifinalist, and cookbook writer Orlando Murren.
Oh, very cool.
Jen is giving away 1 copy of The Good Bride, and Orlando is giving away 3 copies of Knife Skills for Beginners to lucky U.S. viewers. So you guys know the drill. Drop a comment if you're interested to be entered for either of those or both of them. And don't forget to check out the Killer's latest books.
That's right. Find out what the nanny saw in the sequel to Kara's The Second Mrs. Strong.
And Heather's latest, everyone is watching, is Big Brother Meets Clue in a reality show gone horribly wrong.
And Paris is always a good idea. And so is Kimberly's The Paris Widow, about a dream vacation that goes off the rails.
Love it. All right, you guys, membership has its privileges. So if you're on Facebook, check out our private members only group called the Killer Author Club, where all the killer magic is found, like tons of giveaways. Every episode, the killers choose a name from the hat to win a piece of killer swag. We have t-shirts, mugs, candles, totes, hats, all of which can be found at killerauthorclub.com. And tonight's winner is Kim Rudder. Kim, if you are watching, please send one of us your address and we will send some killer author swag your way. And guys, if you'd like to throw your hat in the ring to win some swag, all you have to do is become a member of the Facebook group, and the link is coming up in the comments. So Geneva, tell us where our listeners and viewers can find you.
You can find me on my Facebook page, Geneva Rose, or TikTok and Instagram is Geneva Rose Author. And if you'd love to join a super cool group called Geneva Rose's Convention of Readers, I call them my silly geese. And if you do, then if you're a part of the group, then when this book releases, because my acknowledgments is for my gaggle of geese, may you fly high and stay silly. So if you want a book dedicated to you, you'll be in my Facebook reader group.
I love that. Do they get early reads sometimes? Are they like a street team?
I post in there just like random stuff that I wouldn't post on my like reader group. I need to be better about my giveaways in there, but I do share my news in there first, so it always gets posted in there. Cover reveal, stuff like that. There's always a giveaway dedicated to there, which is a smaller group compared to my other social media platforms, so better odds of winning there. And then Drew posts in there too. He's supposed to be doing his Monday motivations, but he hasn't done that in like a month. So
I'm not feeling very motivated. You guys have been moving.
yeah, we've been busy.
Lots of silly geese in the comments here. So lots of
geese.
All right. So I have good news for you. You survived the Killer Author Club.
Yeah.
Bam. It was a close one, but you survived. And thank you so much for being here. We love chatting.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
So much fun. And so that does it for tonight's episode. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and make sure to mark your calendars for our first show of 2025. Join us on January 14th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, when Greg Wands and Elizabeth McCullough Keenan will be joining the Killer Author Club to tell us about trust issues. In the meantime, please find us wasting entirely too much time on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. For all the information you need, times, upcoming schedules, past episodes, recipes, and merch, surf to killerauthorclub.com. Thank you for being part of the club, and see you next year.
That does it for tonight's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to catch our next show live, we're every other Tuesday night on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For times, upcoming schedule, and to catch up on past episodes, visit us at killerauthorclub.com. Happy reading. Now get on out there and kill that TBR.